Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Film Banter Masterpiece Theater. Please excuse my guest here. This is Mr. John Merrick. Mr. Merrick, you are known as the Elephant Man. Is that true?
How is that? I was auditioning.
For what?
Was that good?
Were you auditioning to play an actual elephant?
No, I wanted to play an animal, but I'm not an animal.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're not an animal, so... Okay.
Listen, it's good to be here.
I'm happy to have you on my
Thank
show.
you for having me on the show.
It's my pleasure.
And listen, if you'd like an autograph later, I'd be happy to give it to you.
Okay. Well, we can do that afterwards, after we're done with the interview.
Could you get me a gin and tonic, please? I think I'd
after
like
the
something
show,
to
we'll
drink.
get one of our people to get you one.
Could I have a sherry? Somebody out there, could I have a sherry, please?
Roger, get this man a drink, please.
Bring me a sherry. I'd love a sherry.
Okay, now let's get to the interview, sir. Now, you are known as the Elephant Man. Is that true?
Oh, yes, I suppose.
Now, that's a nickname basically based on your appearance. You're quite a deformed man. Is that
Well,
true?
you know, you don't look so great yourself, buddy.
Hey, at least I don't look like you, sir.
Well,
Don't insult the host.
I haven't seen you naked yet, but my genitals are completely intact.
I'm happy to hear that. I'm sure the ladies have been wondering with bated breath.
The ladies can't get enough of this. Let me
Really?
tell you right now.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm a celeb, baby.
good for you, my friend.
I've got them crawling out of the woodwork.
So when you were working in the circus...
They're coming out of the zoo for me.
When you were in the circus, did you have a whole posse of groupies that were following you everywhere you
I
went?
had a whole posse.
You did?
It was incredible.
Wow. Well, you know, there are people that are into that kind of thing. It turns them on to see somebody that's deformed. So I guess that's your niche.
I suppose so. You know, they like a little bit of a different kind of
That's
edge
true.
there. So,
Well, you're different.
yeah, I suppose I am. You know, there's no question about it.
Well, tell me then. I know you've
Damn
transitioned.
that Michael Jackson, by the way, tried to buy my bones.
I saw that.
That mother.
Well, you know, I'm very happy to hear that he didn't succeed because
Me too.
your bones are yours. You shouldn't be on auction.
Hashtag me too.
Exactly.
It's not right.
So I know you've moved on from the circus life. You've become an actor. You played yourself in David
I'm a big
Lynch's
star now, baby.
adaptation of your life, The Elephant Man, from
You
1980.
got it. Oh, he
What was
very,
that like?
He was very kind.
He was kind to you.
He was very kind. He was very kind. And Anne Bancroft, and Anthony Hopkins, John Gielgud, Wendy Hill, very kind.
I'm very happy to hear that
very
they were kind to you.
Very kind.
You've had enough strife in your life.
I've had a lot of bullshit in my day.
Yes.
And you know, they always say that shoveling, you know, even though it's elephant, that's still showbiz.
That's true.
So you know, when I take a good crap, there's always someone behind me to clean it up.
Well, you do eat a lot of fiber out here.
I'm giving a lot of people a job.
Okay.
In showbiz, if
Good
you get
to hear.
my drift.
No, I get your drift.
So I think it's been very good.
I'm happy to hear
Life
that.
is good, you know. I made a few bucks. You know, they gave me some. They gave me a good bunch of peanuts and things like that, and I was able to survive for quite some time. And I'm doing quite well right now. I've got I do a gig here and there over at the local fair from time to time, and I've got to take off my mask, but that's okay.
Do you have any plans to do a sequel to The Elephant Man?
No, I died at the end. Didn't you see the film?
But yeah, in movies, anything's possible. You could
No,
come back
no.
as a ghost.
No, I
I mean,
died.
come on.
No, I died in the film. It's over.
So that's
the
it.
film was made over 30 years ago.
I know, and you're still riding its coattails.
So I'm still riding its. Don't you notice I'm wearing a leather coat tonight? I'm not wearing that
It's a
silly
very nice
blanket.
upgrade from that poncho you wore in that film.
And who needs it more than we, my friend?
That's true.
Who needs it more than we?
Well, sir, I gotta say, it's been a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, it's been a very pleasure to meet you, Mr.
I'd love to have you back on the show at some point again in the future, and
Certainly.
maybe
What's your
you
name?
can show us some tricks. How about that? My name
What,
is.
am I a monkey to you?
Well, you're an elephant to
What,
me.
am I some kind of a dancing clown?
You could be. Is that something you want to get into, sir?
I just wanted to do my Joe Pesci for you.
I like that. That was pretty good.
But you
Not
know,
the best,
listen,
but-
I'm just a man. I'm not an elephant. Even though my dong seems to resemble the trunk of one.
I've heard that.
But
You know what?
listen,
You're given a gift given your appearance.
when you're given a gift, you
Very
got to
happy
take
to
what
hear
you
that.
got.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's not the best.
No.
You got to do with what you got when you got it, and you do it, and then you've done it, and it's over.
It's the attitude that
It's the
counts, and you have a
attitude that
very good
counts.
one, sir.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, folks, we're going to say goodnight. It's been a pleasure to have Mr. Merrick on
Where's
the
my
show.
sherry? Where's my sherry?
Oh, Roger, can you bring him his sherry, please? Until next time on Film Banter Masterpiece Theater, we will see you again very soon.
Oh, yes. See you soon, everyone.
Hello, everybody.
How you guys doing?
It is us, once again, Christopher and myself. We're doing a show You may recall this particular setting that we're at right now. This is the old setting.
This is our old humble beginnings.
Official handshake.
Official handshake.
We have to do at the beginning of every
We really
new place that we go.
We're back to our
So
roots
we are
after
back to our
about
roots.
16 or 17 weeks down in Secaucus,
About
in the studio.
almost 5 to 6 months. We're in
Yeah,
the 5
since
to 6 month
February, I
range.
guess. Yeah,
Correctamundo. We are back here at my
Yeah.
home.
it feels good.
The fine folks at Be Terrific have always been very good to us and wonderful. We do appreciate their 3-4 camera setup.
It's been great.
It was
Yeah.
great. It was loads of fun. I feel much more comfortable, I must say, here in my own
course.
home. It is a strange phenomenon. I would like to point out, just for the sake of posterity, that a big giant, branch just fell like a sword, like pierced right through the armor of my roof.
The second we walked in the door, we were in here
I
maybe a
know.
minute at most.
Literally.
All of a sudden,
Here's
boom!
this branch, and it just literally, and
Yeah.
I just to pull it out was almost impossible.
Yeah.
It was so heavy. This thing weighed like 50 pounds
Yeah,
at
yeah.
least.
And then you almost,
I
fell
almost
off
died,
the ladder broke.
Coming up the ladder,
This old rickety ladder
of
that's
the-
probably older than you.
One of the ladder rungs
Yeah.
broke.
Two of them. 2 rungs.
No, just one.
Are you sure? I'm
Yeah,
pretty
just
sure there
one.
was 2. No?
No, just one. The
Okay.
second one began to creak.
That's the one that
As
I
I
heard crack
stood
when
on
I was
it.
trying to say, I'm not
Yeah.
going to go up this ladder.
No,
Something's
no.
creaking.
Well, you're heavier than me, so
I am a little heavier than
probably
you. Yeah.
just as well. What do
Yeah.
you weigh, if I may ask?
185.
Oh, okay.
What are you?
I'm about 168 right now.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah, I've lost some weight. Okay, we're doing Mr. David Lynch tonight.
We're covering just David Lynch's career tonight.
We are David Lynch's career.
Yeah.
We have some new films that hopefully we'll be talking about next
Next week.
But David Lynch, here he is, right here. This is his new book. It's called Room to Dream.
Yes, and there's a nice shot of him on the back.
Nice shot of David on the back.
He's
here.
probably the coolest looking filmmaker ever. He looks really cool. He's got a cool look to
You
him.
know,
He has a good mystique.
There's, I'm going to say a few things about David himself. There's nobody in the film world that I can really think of. Maybe James Gunn. I don't even know I don't know James Gunn.
Yeah.
I know he's a fun guy. I know everybody loves him.
I agree.
But the people at the set of all David's films, they just get this gift of a man who is just the warmest heart and most
I
creative
would agree.
mind. He's amazing. He sees things in the normal world, and he's able to pull out this abstract, Picasso-like, complete. It's like a code. It's
Yeah.
almost like he pulls out a decrypted code and the reality and turns it into true cinema. True filmmaking that just blows my mind.
Yeah.
It absolutely does. I don't know another filmmaker who
No.
is just so much of a visionary
It's so unique.
as David Lynch. He just blows my mind at every turn. I'm very so grateful that Chris here did watch the latest 17 episodes
Yeah.
of season 3.
I watched seasons 1, 2, and 3
I
all
know
throughout
you
May
did.
and June and
Amazing,
flew through it.
Amazing, but
Yeah.
true. So
But yeah,
let's,
Lynch is so unique that there's it's become a term. Oh, that movie is very Lynchian. It's
Very
very
much
big.
so.
There's only, and I've said this on this show many times before. There's only a handful of filmmakers that have such a distinct signature to their films that
True.
there's no doubt whose world you're in.
Yeah.
He's in his own league, and then there's a few other ones
You
that.
mentioned Scorsese to me once. I don't see that at all.
Well, there is a. To me, there is a way that he composes his camera movements that, for me, especially in early films up until I'd say about Casino,
Okay.
there's a lot of very distinct movements that feel, to me, very unique for him.
All right.
But then there's other filmmakers that have a very unique visual style as well, especially in their early work, like we've discussed before, David Cronenberg,
Right.
Tim Burton,
Well,
earlier.
Tim Burton only
yeah.
due to the visual style.
Exact visual
Yeah.
style. And there's a few other ones that eventually will come back to my memory. But
So
right
funny.
now it's all about
Absolutely.
Lynch.
A quick note about Tim Burton, too. I remember when the first film that basically he was famous for, which was Pee-wee's Big
Big
Adventure.
Adventure, yeah.
That came out, and everybody said, oh, Pee-wee Herman. Oh, he's so creative. He's so amazing. And then they realized, no. It wasn't Pee-wee at all. It was Tim Burton, who was
yeah.
truly the genius behind the
Yeah.
camera there, and a visual composer just like David Lynch is.
I agree.
So let's get right to it. We have the short films of David. This is a box set that you can purchase, I believe, over at davidlynch.com.
Is it available on Amazon? I didn't check for that.
It's got to be.
It's gotta be.
It's got to be. This is the DVD. This has never been put onto a Blu-ray,
Okay.
but it is a nice little box set. There's only one disc. believe it or not, in the whole thing, and it's right here.
Okay.
There is the disc.
What else is in there? A booklet of some sort?
Yeah, there's a book, and you could have bought this signed by David.
By David, yeah.
Yeah, and that would have cost you a little bit more. Not that much more, believe it or not. You know, he was kind of giving a signature away around in the $50 range.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I think
yeah.
I paid $30 for that
Okay.
box set. I bought that quite a few years ago, about 15, maybe 12 years ago or so.
Mhm.
When things were really starting to happen for him. Well, more than that. I mean, things have been happening for David since
1977.
Yes,
80.
in '77 when Eraserhead came out in what
1977.
was it '77?
1977.
Is that when that came
Yes.
out? Oh my.
Because he did some shorts up until then,
Okay.
and then but that took many years to make.
All right.
It was released in
Well,
'77.
that's true. It was about a 3-year process
At
to
least,
make
yeah.
Eraserhead. A lot of design and so forth.
But it was his first feature film.
It was his first feature film. This is the new Criterion
Yep.
Blu-ray right here. You'll notice it is David Lynch approved, has the big blue seal on it. Most of my DVD Blu-rays, in fact, are open. This particular one is not. I have not played it. I've seen this movie so many times, I just haven't gone back to it. Let's talk about Eraserhead.
Yeah, this was a big, when it came out, it became one of those midnight movies, like a
Absolutely.
precursor to Rocky Horror, when people would go.
Well, Rocky
to
Horror was much earlier.
What year was that, Rocky Horror?
Rocky Horror was like 73.
It was before. 73.
Yeah.
Was that early, huh?
Yeah.
I thought it was a little later.
No, no.
But yeah, well, this became one of the movies that people would go see at midnight, and that's
Very
how
true.
it really
It did become
gained a cult. I knew that was going to happen. Get it over with on the first film,
become
guys. A cult favorite.
It's a cult favorite, no question.
Big
It's
time.
a super weirdo. It's a very
Yeah.
slow-paced movie.
Very atmospheric.
Noted for its nightmarish imagery and so forth, featuring a man who's been a staple amongst the Lynchian world for years and years, Mr. John Nance here.
Jack Nance.
Jack Nance. Well, his national real
Is
name
it John?
is John.
It's John?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Well,
and
it's
then-
a lot of Jacks or Johns.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
So true, indeed.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Jack Nance is in this film. This was his first relationship with cinematographer Jack Fisk, who was actually married to Sissy Spacek. And they were buddies in school. They both loved painting, and but Eraserhead is it's just such a weird film.
Very much is a nightmare, like you
Yeah.
said before.
As I say, you know, it's 134 minutes. It goes by very, very slow.
Yeah.
You know, I do love, there's a couple things I love about this movie. There is a woman in the hall who it kind of opens up a door as our weird Mr. Eraserhead goes into his room. And nobody really has a name in this film. But there's a woman across the hall, and believe it or not, she was the wife of Pernell Roberts. Pernell Roberts was on the show Bonanza. And this beautiful woman, she just opens up, and you know, the more I think about it, she looks very much like Dolores Del Rio, who sang, who did the Il Silencio. She did the Roy Orbison song at the very end of Mulholland Drive on a red curtain stage.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, and she sings da 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 da. Anyway, I won't sing it for you. Well, you already have. But anyway, it's wonderful. But the woman, Pernell Roberts' wife, looks very much like Dolores Del Rio. I guess David has a look that he certainly goes for. Strange film, weird movie. If you've never seen it, I think it's worth a watch. Used to be a favorite of mine, not so much anymore. It's just, you know, it's weird but it is truly that film that is the weirdest for weird's sake.
It is, and
it
stays with you too. I remember the first time I saw it.
Yeah,
it stayed with me, and the thing that gripped me the most about this film was the meticulous sound design that he did in this film.
Oh,
it was
amazing.
It was haunting. It was the movie had so much atmosphere. You're in this world, and it's very unsettling, very disturbing at times, especially when the baby comes into play.
Yeah.
Which in reality they used, I believe, was the carcass of a dead calf.
Yeah, I believe so.
Just some really grotesque
Horrifying.
stuff.
Yeah.
But he's so inventive with the way he gets his story across, where he uses stop action. He uses obviously black and white. He uses extreme close up, bizarre composition, like the couple scenes was very dreamlike, where you just see John Nance's head on the side, like floating. Just a lot of weird dream imagery.
Not to forget the girl in the radiator.
Yeah, the girl in the radiator.
Comes out and sings "In Heaven, Everything Is Fine." One of the predominant themes through all of David Lynch's films is the world of factories.
Yeah.
The world of a black hole, and something goes into that hole and finds a new world in that hole. That is predominant actually, in the opening scene of Elephant Man, we kind of carry on this industrial noise, not in the music disco sense, obviously so, but just this industrial, this heavy pounding of machinery and smoke fumes just bellowing over a black and white canvas. It just brilliant stuff that he just, he picks up everything, and he uses so much stuff in all of his films. He uses childhood horrors, things that have haunted him for years and years. He will just throw into a movie. Amazing stuff. But his just the soundtrack of his films is very, very important.
Very.
In the last few films, he's done a lot of the music himself. Inland Empire.
Yes.
He composed maybe 40 to 30% of the film music that was in this film. He always uses some old 50s song.
He does. Yeah.
He does like the go dum da dum da 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 da, which he used in Mulholland Drive. And, oh baby, why don't you love me, or something,
like that.
Whatever that song. And that was sung by a cute little girl named, I believe her name was Susan Lowell. What the hell was her name? It's not important. I'm getting off the subject here because I'm pissed off and upset because a branch has gone through the roof of my house, and that's always upsetting.
It's not happy.
Eraserhead, a bizarre film I totally recommend.
You can watch it.
I'm going to skip that one. We have another little thing that he did with a great female vocalist. Her name is Julie Cruz. I don't want to put this on the...
Because we're not going to linger on it.
We're not going to really talk about it much. It's just a little hour long. It's almost like a concert that he did. Julie Cruz, of course, who does the theme of Twin Peaks and a lot of music in the Twin Peaks world. She has a very soft, floating kind of voice.
Yeah, she does.
If you've heard the soundtrack of Twin Peaks, it's quite amazing. So, okay, we're going to go right into our next film, The Elephant Man.
His first, you could say, studio film.
This is his first big...
as a director for hire for Mr. Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks saw
Eraserhead. Got him this gig from seeing Eraserhead. Mel Brooks saw it and said, I want him. And got him on board to direct this movie.
I got to hand it to Mel Brooks because, he saw a black and white film, and he insisted that David make this film in black and white also, which he did. This is a color shot on the cover here of Anthony Hopkins. And John Hurt, as completely undistinguishable as John Hurt in The Elephant Man, but a beautiful performance. I was able to see David Bowie give this performance on stage.
That's pretty cool.
In Chicago 3 times over the course of 3 weeks. I went and saw David and do a very phenomenal, it's a physical workout of a role, but this is such a graphic and beautiful and sad film.
Very sad.
It's a heartbreaking little piece of work. We have Anne Bancroft is in this, Mel Brooks' wife, of course. We have, what's her name, the older actress who, she is just magnificent. Here she is. Oh no, this is called Homme Elephant. This must be the French.
French.
Her name
title.
is. Gee, I do want to know. We'll speak about Elephant Man for a moment while I look up this woman's name because I do love.
I didn't write down all the cast.
Wendy Hiller, great British accent.
Yeah.
John Gielgud. I mean, and these are first-time big stars who work with a new young director named David Lynch. He took command. He knew what he wanted. He made just a brilliant film. This film,
I think it was the perfect choice to tell that story.
Absolutely, it's just a beautiful film.
It's just a heartbreaking film. It's I was saying to you at dinner briefly, just the cruelty that's on display in this film.
True.
People see somebody that's obviously got some
major
deformities.
That's what it is.
And they just choose to ostracize him, to treat him like garbage. And this obviously has been going on forever. But you just feel for the man so much when you watch this film because
you really do.
He's such a human. He's carrying his heart on his sleeve a lot of the film, and he's unfortunately the subject of such cruelty. And you just sympathize with this poor guy who lived not much of a life. And thank God, thank God he gets to meet Anthony Hopkins, who finally treats him with dignity and.
Well,
of course, and he's able to live, I guess, the end of his life in somewhat of dignity.
Pretty much
a little bit,
You have to remember, of course, this is not a fictional piece
No,
of
this
work.
is a true story.
This is a true story. You might have
John
remember
Merrick.
John Merrick, of course.
Yeah.
His actual name was Joe Merrick, believe it or not.
Joe Merrick.
And they called him John just for the sake of the John Jack syndrome or Joe John syndrome. But you might remember Michael Jackson had this infatuation with trying to buy the Elephant Man bones.
He did, yeah.
But he was not able to. The Elephant Man bones are on display in a prominent, I believe, hospital museum in London, and you can go see them, and they are frightening. And it's absolutely true. I wonder how much actual knowledge of this man is really in the history books to make a film like this that they did. Obviously, his because of the curvature of the spine and the bone, cancerous. He had all these tumors all over him. Oddly enough, but notice, as some old man says, that the genitals are precisely the right size. And there's a little scene with Anthony Hopkins and
yeah, I remember that scene.
I love the opening of this film pretty much, is where we're in the carnival with Freddie. He was a very famous actor that a lot of British, he was in a couple Kubrick films too. Freddie Jones was his name. And Freddie Francis, believe it or not, was the cinematographer on this film, but who was accustomed to working with Mel Brooks. But so Freddie Jones was a great British actor, and he plays the carnival owner who just treats this man horrendously and basically is the villain in the film, if you will. Yes. But it's just a heartbreaking piece of work, added so by the incredible music. Adagio for strings, a lot of classical work is used to, forgive me, I don't mean to dominate this whole conversation, but what the hell else is there to talk about? I might as well keep going here. But and then John, his name is John Morris, I believe, who did the music for High Anxiety and Young Frankenstein, and he was Mel Brooks's musical composer for many of his films. I know even that silent movie he made with Marcel Marceau has the only speaking line in it.
Wasn't it called Silent Movie?
It was called Silent Movie.
Silent
Burt
Movie,
Reynolds,
yeah.
and it was just god awful. But anyway, just a perfect piece of work. And I will say this about David Lynch: many of his films are not fully realized. Blue Velvet is a fully realized film. Eraserhead is fragments of weirdness, kind of pasted together, as is Mulholland Drive, Wild at Heart.
I agree.
These are not complete films in a
not
beginning,
necessarily a
middle,
very
and an
obvious conclusion.
Well,
a lot is left to the imagination of the viewer.
The word is conventional. He's made very few conventional films. This is one of them, where the film is telling a story to be told. Eraserhead is not a story to be told. It is just...
I agree.
Eraserhead to
It's
me...
almost just a dream.
It's like a dream, but it almost has the ending, for example, going into the light, etc. Supposedly he dies. You think, I'm no big spoiler here, but you don't really know if he dies. But I find the ending of Eraserhead almost equivalent to 2001: A Space Oddity, when you're flying through this light and it's just...
I know what you mean.
There's just a brilliance to David, though, that I have to commend. I've grown to really... I'm so fond of him as a human being. When you watch the new series of Twin Peaks, as I told you, there's like an hour segment per show, where David, you see a behind-the-scenes fragment of him directing.
So there's another 16 hours of behind-the-scenes, basically.
Well, not quite. I'd say about 14, 13 hours of actual footage of watching David direct people. And it's wonderful, amazing. It enhanced the experience so much. Normally, I hate watching behind-the-scenes aspects.
I actually do enjoy
DVD
behind-the-scenes
extras.
quite a bit.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't always watch them, but I always enjoy them. I like that. It's a good window into the process.
True. But like Titanic comes to mind. You know, you believe in the film, you believe in the dream, you believe in the fantasy, the romance, the general, the effect it has on your soul. And then when you see that, James Cameron only made one side of the boat, he mirror imaged it, the boat never actually moved in water. You find out all these little tidbits of tricks and cinematography, CGI things that are so prevalent in all films these days, it seems. Even the most simplest films have some kind of CGI in them. It's so bizarre.
I know. Yeah, it's true.
Elephant Man, just a wonderful piece of work. It's just it's
watch
awesome. If you do not cry watching this film, you are made out of just some kind of bizarre peat moss type matter, because there is just something about this film that really just it sticks a dagger right into your heart. Just like the branch that came into my roof of my home tonight. Our next film is actually co-directed. I don't even consider this part of the David Lynch film categories. I don't consider this a David Lynch film. He directed, this was done by, what's his face?
De Laurentiis produced the film.
Dino De Laurentiis.
Based on Frank Herbert's epic novels.
Exactly. They're now redoing it,
They are, which Denis Villeneuve is going to make about a trilogy of these
heard
films.
about
That's pretty
that.
cool.
That should be good. I also heard they were making a series on it, too.
They might be doing that, too,
Possibly.
I heard, but I'd rather just see 3 more movies or whatever.
I would, too, especially by Denis Villeneuve.
Denis Villeneuve
He's so
will be amazing.
wonderful.
I guarantee it's going to be excellent.
Great director, absolutely.
But see, I like Dune. I enjoy it. I mean, yeah, it's not a traditional David Lynch film.
It is not.
It's his probably only really big, studio epic. The only time he ever really went that route, and you can tell it really wasn't for him. It's not his speed. I think he prefers to do the smaller movies.
Well, he was not allowed final cut.
He didn't have the freedom that he would.
He had no freedom.
Enjoy usually.
He simply directed the film. Many of his images were lost due to Dino De Laurentiis wanting to make a very commercial film.
Exactly.
So David bowed out about halfway through. There were approximately 3 to 4 other directors that came in on this movie, and they're all under the auspicious name of Alan Smithy.
Yeah.
And Alan Smithy, if you ever see a director on a film called Alan Smithy, he specifically is a non-person.
Yeah.
There is no human being named Alan Smithy. Maybe there is somewhere in the wonderful world of the Smithy branch.
But it's just a fake moniker that they use when
basically.
a director insists on being taken off a movie.
Correct. Or he's fired from a movie or whatever.
Or he's fired, I guess. Most of the time it's because the director doesn't want association, want to be associated
I don't think that's true. I think that they'll just have, but usually it's not the case where they'll have one other director come in. It's more than one. And then Alan Smithy is, because if there's a second director, he'll just come in and he'll be his name. He'll be the director of the film.
But I know that there's been other times where it'll be just one director who leaves the project and says, "I want you to use Alan Smithy." If he's already directed the whole film.
No, I disagree with that. I think Alan Smithy is used if there's more than one.
No,
director.
I disagree.
I disagree.
I've heard it the other way.
Well, I disagree.
Okay. Well,
by the way, we do have Laura Palmer right there behind your head. I hope you can see Laura.
Right over here.
Right over there, she is. She's
probably
there. Blocked by you.
Yeah.
This is his first negotiation with Mr. Kyle MacLachlan.
First of many.
First
McLaughlin.
of many. MacLachlan.
Kyle MacLachlan.
Did I say McLachlan?
McLachlan.
No, it's McLachlan.
Not Rue McClanahan from
it's
that
not
show.
It's not Rue
Golden
McClanahan.
Girls.
He is from Seattle. David, of course, is from Idaho, but they did meet.
He was born in Montana. David Lynch was born in Missoula, Montana.
Oh, you're probably right.
Yeah.
I know he grew up in Idaho.
Yeah.
But Sting is in this movie showing up.
Wasn't a branch.
What was it?
Do you have a doggy gate up?
I do have a doggy
That's what it
gate.
sounded like to me.
Let me just take a look here. Yes, it is the doggy gate. All right. Yeah. I hope it didn't hurt her.
No, she's fine.
Okay.
Gatus interruptus.
There you go.
But this film, it's
a
incredibly
long film.
visual. Oh yeah, it's really, and there's even
There's
longer
an extended-
versions.
I have the extended version. It's 3 hours long.
Yeah.
This is only about 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I saw this film in Paris.
That's pretty cool.
I did go see it in Paris. Virginia Madsen opens the film, talking about the spice, which is the crux of the MacGuffin.
That's the MacGuffin of the film. Yeah.
The thing that everyone is after to
It's
ward
a
off.
substance that allows them to bend space to move through the galaxy at a much quicker pace.
Okay, very good.
And it's about one race versus another one for control of the spice, which is pretty much indigenous to this planet,
Very true.
the sand planet. And there's a lot of battling going on. There's a lot of politics.
Yeah.
There's creatures, these sandworms, and other beings from other galaxies and planets come into play. And it's a very visual film. I think it's incredibly inventive.
It is. It's got some great moments. I like Sting
some good
floating around and
performances.
so forth. Sting is in the film.
Yeah.
It just does nothing for me though. It's too long. It's too wasted. The fact that I know David's heart was not in this movie, I just don't give a goddamn about it. I have to be honest. But it still is. I
still recommend people to see it.
I've only seen it once since I saw it in Paris in 1983 or so. When did this come out?
This came out in 84.
84. Okay.
1984.
Yeah, because Blue Velvet was 86, of course.
Because he turned down Return of the Jedi, and he probably did this instead.
Really?
Well, yeah, because they both were... Well, Jedi was released in 83, this was released in 84.
David Lynch was going to do Jedi?
Well, no,
I did not know.
He wasn't going to do it. He was offered it. Lucas met with him. and he ran away and said, "This is your thing. Thank you, but no thank you."
Gotcha.
And he's like, just hearing about George Lucas's vision for this gave him a headache. He said, he literally called his agent, "I got a migraine. Pick me up. Get me out of here."
Well, Return of the Jedi, it's the final one, correct?
Of the original trilogy, yeah.
So it would have been the most heavily influenced of the first two.
He just didn't want to pick up where somebody else already started.
I can't say I blame him one bit. Plus, he would have been under the control of
George Lucas, and that's not his thing either.
Yeah, absolutely not. You know, to be a director on a Star Wars movie, you're just, as Ron Howard kind of went in, you're just kind of going through the motions.
You are.
Everything is laid out for you. All the art design, everything, the actors, they're all set. They've got their marks. They know what they've got to do. You've just got to kind of yell cut after every, 2-minute or 10-second segment. So I don't think a director on those films is too important. I can understand David not wanting to do that. So let us move on.
Especially on the original trilogy.
And now, of course, we have one of the greats, one of the all-time most incredible
films. It is a masterpiece classic.
Absolutely.
Blue Velvet.
I remember the first time I saw this film. I was right here. I was at the theater right down there in Nanuet, New York. Which was still open at that point when I got here. It is now closed. It is now a gym, I believe. But I saw this film, and I saw it with my wife. No, I did not.
No, because this was 86.
No, I didn't meet her till 1990.
90. You married in 93.
We married in 93, that is correct. The year of Schindler's List.
Exactly, in Jurassic Park.
That's very true.
Those are two big ones.
No, I saw Blue Velvet by myself, and I do recall I was in such shock at this film. I'll tell you something. I put this film on now, and there are certain aspects of this film specifically that you blank out upon. Specifically, the scenes with Dennis Hopper, when there's a horrific scene. This is really about the abuse of women, and specifically the character of Isabel Rossellini. This is a battered woman movie, first and foremost. It is, in fact, a mystery, a great little mystery with Kyle MacLachlan and the wonderful...
Kyle MacLachlan, Laura Dern, Isabel Rossellini, Dennis Hopper,
correct.
Dean Stockwell.
Hope Lang naturally is in this, but...
Jack Nance.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, but this truly is Kyle's movie, no question. He's in almost
also
every scene of the film.
There's a lot of elements of film noir in this too.
Absolutely.
It's a movie. It's in its own class.
It's a movie about voyeurism.
It's about evil.
It is absolute evil.
Pure evil, Dennis Hopper.
Pure evil, Dennis Hopper.
I think this movie, it earned him an Oscar now, but I think it hurt his career a little bit.
You do?
I think so. I think people were just like really horrified by his performance, and
oh, you think so?
I don't because he was typecast a lot after that as the villain.
He was. Went right into Waterworld.
Well, that was '95.
Yeah, okay.
Many years later, almost 10 years later.
9 years later.
Yeah,
True.
And I didn't realize that he actually Dennis Hopper got a lot. He almost got blacklisted after he did. Right around the time he was doing Easy Rider, the Last Picture Show, around that period, he got blacklisted for a period. Yeah, there was a.
For what? That was way early back.
Oh, I know, yeah, but for a while he wasn't getting any. He wasn't allowed to direct for quite some time.
Well,
it took him a few years to come back.
He was in Rebel Without a Cause back.
I know his first film, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he idolized James Dean.
He did indeed.
But anyway, he's amazing in this film.
He is amazing in this film. He is
frightening.
He is
nitrous oxide.
Yeah, he's got the inhaler going on. This movie is so bizarre. At every turn, there's just a new little element of just total creation, something you've just never seen before. I've always said that David Lynch has the ability to make you be aroused, laugh, and be horrified all within the same minute of time. He just has that way to manipulate your mind, and he's really the ultimate director. I know I'm idolizing the guy, but I love the fact that it is all left up to you. Yeah. That you are truly the backboard. You are the eraser. You're the blackboard. The brain that computes whatever image he puts at you. So it depends on your level of maturity or non-maturity or whatever of how you relate. Of course, that's true with every film. Yeah. But I think David tests you on so many levels.
He doesn't want to spell things out for you.
I'll tell you something. I watched this movie for a time there. I'd watch it literally about every 3 months or so. I just kept going back to it because I would just find that it just it satisfied a certain, I hate to use the word satisfied, but it did. It satisfied a particular entertainment, just a satisfaction to me. It really, really did. I love it. I love Isabel Rossellini, who then became David's girlfriend, right, as this film was being made. There's so many great little stories around this film. At exactly the halfway point, we see Kyle and I can't think of her.
Laura Dern.
Laura Dern. Why am I spacing out on Laura
okay.
Dern? I don't know. But literally at the halfway mark, they're sitting in a diner, and he says, "Well, we're halfway into a mystery, and halfway into a crime scene." And that's exactly that. There's just so many cool little movies in this. Also, if you do pick up the Blu-ray DVD version, there is about an extra, I'm going to say almost 45 minutes worth of footage. Many of it is worth your time. A lot of bizarre backstories of Kyle MacLachlan going to college. Another little sex scene on the roof of Isabel Rossellini, the Dorothy Valens character, as her name was. Just the other day, I was on Facebook, and there was a link to Instagram, and it had Isabel, and of course David is everywhere right now on certainly on my Facebook, because I am part of Lynch land.
Yes.
And so I'm constantly getting all kinds of notification every day. Some guy or some jerk or some human is making another point about this character in Twin Peaks. It's all basically Twin Peaks related stuff. But this I loved, because Isabel Rossellini, the daughter of Ingrid Bergman, went, and she had some photographs of her on Instagram, but she gave almost like a little seminar. It was wonderful. And she talked about how many women were so appreciative of this film, just on the sake of the battered women, the battered woman element to it. There's a scene at the end where suddenly we see this woman walking naked, and Kyle MacLachlan is about to have a fight with Laura Dern's boyfriend, and he says, "Is that your mom?" And suddenly we see there's Dorothy Valens, who is now Kyle's lover. And of course, I'm reading the David Lynch book now, and when he was a young man, there was a woman walking around at night, just walking as though she had been beaten by somebody, naked, just walking naked through the neighborhood.
Interesting how that
inspired him. He took that and he created a real piece of work here.
He did.
It's probably my favorite David Lynch film, and once again, it's just a total conventional. And when I say conventional, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. The mysteries of love, some of the best music Angelo Badalamenti ever wrote in his life. I mean, just beautiful, beautiful music here. Dennis Hopper, it's an evil, and yet a very joyous film.
It is.
One of the few things I really don't like about this movie, and it always bothers me, at the very end of the film, there's a bird sitting on a windowsill with a cockroach in its mouth. And David wanted a real bird, but they couldn't find one, so they use a fake bird, and that fake bird always bothers me.
I know, it sucks when
and
that
David
happens.
was going to go back and change it, and he liked it so much, he said, "No, I like the fake bird, leave it in," and they did. Ladies and gentlemen, our next film.
Another very visual film, Wild at Heart, 1990, Laura Dern and Nicolas Cage, as well as Willem Dafoe, are the main stars in this film.
Absolutely.
This film is a very, I don't want to say operatic, but there's a lot of very these musical visual moments that take form, and you're just like mesmerized.
Musical moments?
Well, not
There's
like
a lot of great music.
Yeah,
in
not
the
in
film.
the musical sense, but I just remember those scenes with the fire, and it's just in your face, and the music is swelling.
There's heavy metal music.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff, and it's just a movie's like a punch in the face. It's
a little bit.
Yeah, it's an intense movie at times. It's a very interesting.
Very much so.
It's like a love story, but there's trashy elements to it. It's Willem Dafoe is a scumbag in this movie.
He is a scumbag.
It's a cool movie. It's an interesting follow up.
Yeah.
To
Harry
Blue Velvet.
Dean Stanton is in this
Harry
film.
Dean Stanton,
who became a great friend of David's. For me, this film is almost like it's like David Lynch's version of The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
With Nicholas and Laura being Dorothy kind of thing. At the end, we do actually see Glinda the Good Witch, played by the Laura Palmer actress. What is her name?
Cheryl Lee.
Cheryl Lee, correct. This is not one of my favorite Lynch films. I just watched it again. This is a brand new.
I'll probably do to watch it again, actually, myself.
This is a brand new version of the film that just came out. There's a lot of extra footage.
Cool.
What's his name? The guy, a really sick individual, is in this movie, and they cut out all of his Crispin Glover.
Crispin Glover.
Crispin Glover.
He's
is
a weirdo,
in this movie.
He's an interesting actor.
I love Isabella Rossellini as this. She plays a real sleaze bucket. This movie, it's a very strange film. But this is not a conventional film. This just is a series of nightmarish images, if you will, and often nice images, but often not. Diane Ladd is a strange thing. There's a great scene where Diane Ladd, who's Laura Dern's mother in real life, and just putting lipstick all over her face, and this movie is disturbing, and yet I find it very lightweight for David. I don't find it to be as heavy-hitting as nearly, I can't say Dune because I'm so unfan of that, but The Elephant Man, even Eraserhead, every moment is so intense. This film is not intense for me, and that's what I love about David Lynch, is that he hits you very hard, and this film is very lightweight.
It's also kind of a road movie.
It is a bit of a
I can
road
see
movie.
him wanting to do something a little lighter after Blue Velvet, which is obviously extremely intense at times.
Well, the violence in this, I think, is far more escalated than that.
Well, violence is one thing, but in terms of the tonal quality of the film, I would say the tone of Blue Velvet is darker than Wild at Heart, given the violence.
No question.
But I can see wanting to do something a little different each time.
No question at all.
This is a very colorful film.
It is.
It might be his most colorful, at least up until that point that I can think of.
Possibly so.
Because up until then, everything's very dark. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of colors in Dune, but this one, it strikes out. Everything to the wardrobe, to the composition of the scenes and the production design.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's an interesting film.
It is.
I actually am going to watch it again. I haven't watched it in probably a decade.
Oh, I just watched it again. I've seen it probably twice in the last year. It's just not one of my favorites, as I say. I like Nicolas Cage. I think he's good.
I always like Nick.
He does a little. Well, this is when he's kind of.
He's still ascending at this point.
He's still
trying
ascending,
weird stuff.
Very good way to put it. He's still ascending into his now flopping career. That he's now become the Robert De Niro of as his agent just picks up the phone and says he'll take it. He'll take it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much it.
Unfortunately, he got himself into trouble with the IRS, so now he had to pay all that back taxes. So now he's got to play catch up financially.
And he did marry Lisa Marie Presley.
And now he's on to his, I think, third wife.
I don't know.
Now, he's married to
I think she's Asian.
She's Asian or something because they have a child who he named, I believe, Kal-El.
Oh, did he?
Which is Superman's name.
I know.
Yeah. But I have faith in Nicolas Cage, and I'm going to predict that he's going to have not necessarily a huge comeback, but I think he's going to give us another role or two or three that are going to be very memorable.
I hope you're
because he's done a few good ones in the past few years.
He has indeed.
That movie Joe was very good.
Yeah.
I thought Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans was good for him.
Absolutely.
I liked his small role in Snowden.
Yep.
I still like him. I'm always going to support Nick Cage. And I'm always going to applaud him because I think he's still a very brave actor. I think he's fell into a kind of a caricature of himself, but a lot of actors do that.
True.
Johnny Depp has become a caricature these days of Johnny Depp.
Unfortunately, he has in a very negative way.
Yeah, so I still have faith in both of them. I still like both of them.
Yep.
If I had to pick one, I think I still like Nick Cage a little better these days.
Do you than Johnny?
Well, not only because.
Yeah, but to look at the work of each,
it's totally
to
different
go
spectrums.
I gotta go with Johnny.
No, I agree, but I just think right now I have more fun lately looking at Nicholas's stuff. Just because it's
Johnny's
it's
very serious.
He's very serious,
or
very silly at times. The characters sometimes.
Well. The one thing about Johnny Depp is he becomes he's always been a character actor.
I know.
He always plays a different man than
in a movie star's body, basically. Yeah.
Correct. Where Nicolas Cage is always Nicolas Cage, almost always.
That's true.
He did do that one film recently where he played an inventor, a Vietnam inventor. He had a beard. He kind of talked with a southern accent. He was in love with. There's a woman on a show called The Goldbergs. And she was in this film.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the film, believe it or not. and he wanted to fly into.
Oh no, you're thinking of not Vietnam. This is the one where he wants to go to Iraq to kill Osama bin Laden. Army of One.
Yeah. That's the name.
Yeah, that's an interesting film. I also like Lord of War, where he plays a weapons dealer.
That was interesting.
That was an Andrew Niccol film.
Snake Eyes, Brian De Palma.
You know that film?
I hate it though.
I hate it.
It's a piece of junk.
I liked the first half hour.
Did you? Yeah.
And then the film slowly deteriorates, and then the ending just totally falls apart.
You know what I like though? He did a movie called Next with Jessica Biel.
That was okay. He plays a magician in Vegas or something.
No. That's the film where
I thought he was a magician.
No. He can predict the next.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah,
like 13 seconds of what's going to happen.
But he did it in it like he was a. He had a thing in Vegas. He did a show out of that, didn't he? And then he ends up having to solve a real mystery.
Well,
I thought he did it as like a sideshow gig.
I don't remember that.
And then he becomes a hero.
Wait, wasn't that Snake Eyes where he's?
No, Snake Eyes is a private detective.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting way
Adaptation is great. But anyway, it's worth checking out.
You know, this is probably David's most sexual film.
Yeah, I would say so.
I have to say, there's a lot of sex going on between Nicholas and Laura here.
Laura Dern.
Although Mulholland Drive just has a very heavy. That has a wetness about it. Mulholland Drive.
Lesbian sex scenes in that one.
There's a dampness about.
There's a moisture that's present.
Yeah, there is definitely a moisture going on there. Okay, next we have Twin Peaks.
I would say the big turning point of his career into mainstream
Absolutely.
and long-form storytelling and weirdness.
Absolutely true. If you stop touching that, it'll stop.
Well, you also knock it over too.
I didn't knock it over. I'm just putting it there.
No, but every time you touch it,
goes, and then you
its legs close when you touch it. Like
that's what
your dates.
That's what she said to you.
No. Yeah.
But anyway, Twin Peaks, of course, you know.
It's a
this
very
is
unique.
Where David,
its own league.
David spread his genius out. He didn't focus on a 1-2 hour 45-minute film. He spread it all out into just a wondrous, enveloping fantasy world that is just so mesmerizing.
It is. Perfect word for it.
I gotta really say, and you said this once, but of course I've been saying it for years, and that is the music of Twin Peaks. It's such a brilliant. There's such a draw.
Angela Badalamenti. It's so haunting.
He just
amazing.
He created a theme for every person.
I love it.
Laura's theme.
It's great. And how he came up with it, and I love that story of him and David at the piano.
Okay, now bring it up.
Yeah.
Now take it down.
And then David says to him, he goes, "Oh, do that again. You're breaking my heart."
It's
great.
It's incredible.
It's awesome.
Just brilliant.
Nothing like Twin Peaks.
And you know, it's a shame now because David's into almost like an industrial type music now. I was talking industrial back in when we were discussing Eraserhead and Elephant Man and so forth. But now he makes this kind of music.
He does.
He's actually not bad. He has
I love that album, Crazy Clown Time.
Crazy Clown Time.
It's a great album.
A great album. He's got quite a few.
He does.
He also made an album with the actress who plays the co-private eye. Her name is Lori something, I believe. She's in the new Twin Peaks.
Yes.
And she's a very
She's the one that was you mean she's the female FBI agent with Miguel Ferrer and David Lynch.
She's a singer.
Yes.
David has known her for like 15 years because he collaborated with her on some music. She's a singer. She travels the world. And she sings on stage, etc. If you don't know about this film, though, there is just some brilliance about it.
It was on for 2 seasons in 1990 and 1991, and it was canceled abruptly.
Well, as it should have been, because after the second season, or actually about halfway through the second season, the mystery is solved.
Yeah.
We find out.
Well, don't say who it is.
Well, I'm just going to say we find out who killed Laura Palmer.
Because in the first episode in the pilot, you see this girl has died, and you learn about this whole world
covered in plastic, and we just go into it's just the surface world. I love that. I have to point out, just as an analogy, the opening of Blue Velvet. We see a man watering his lawn. Suddenly, we see that he has a heart attack. He's dying. Now, the hose that he's watering his lawn with gets twisted, just like his heart valves. So the camera now goes beneath the surface of the lawn, and now we see ants just busy crawling into each other and fighting and eating and being very violent little black ants, as they're not little black, but they look humongous black ants. And that's the true beauty of David Lynch. It's the mystery beneath the facade. That's what Twin Peaks is. We take a normal little town and we get into the lives. And once my father always used to say this to me, once you get to know somebody, everybody's a little weird. It's just
true.
the way we are as human beings.
Everybody
we know is a little weird. You think you know somebody who's not so weird, but then they're weird just by not being so weird, it seems. You know, we all have these little facets of humanness and what makes us laugh and cry and respond to the world, and it's all partly DNA, partly the life of growing up as we all do in our environment, etc. But Twin Peaks takes all that and just gives us a whole world unto its own. It's a comedy. There's lots of great fun here.
There's quirky characters. There's funny moments, sad moments, beautiful moments. There's romantic moments. There's horror.
I love
Joan everything.
Joan
Chen is
great.
God,
is she
Peggy
amazing.
Lipton. I mean, everybody is great.
Right.
I love everybody.
We have the log lady who at the end
just died last year.
Just died at the end of each episode.
Yeah.
On this particular box set, the log lady gives a little minute sermon about pretty much what just kind of happened and what's about to come in a kind of prophetic way. Just great stuff.
It's amazing. Check it out.
You know,
you can watch the entire two seasons. It's on Netflix. It's also on Amazon. You can watch it there.
Yep.
But I will say that what we're going to talk about next, Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, that's actually not. I think that's available
in this.
It is, and it's not on Netflix, but it is on Amazon. You can watch it. We're going to talk about that next.
All right, cool.
That is a 2-hour film that he made after Twin Peaks was canceled to kind of tie up all the loose ends.
Well, we didn't really. We know who the murderer was, but we didn't know how the murder took
happened.
place.
And this gives you the backstory.
So we get to see the whole back edge of it. We get to see everything. And to me, this is David Lynch's darkest, most horrifying film. There is not an ounce of joy in this movie to be had. This film is just.
I'm going to watch that again. It's been a long time.
A hard film to watch. It just goes from. It's got that angst. It's got that. There's constant teenage angst going on in this, frustration, hatred, and the real horror of the murderer and how this young woman dies. And for me, this is his darkest, most hard to watch film. I don't enjoy watching it so much, although it's mandatory for any Twin Peaks aficionado. You have to see this film. And there's also something on here called The Missing Pieces.
Yes.
And The Missing Pieces is also on here, which is about 90 minutes of missing pieces. A lot of great little elements and things behind not behind the scenes, but footage that he didn't quite add the first time just due to time or whatever. So you get a whole.
So it's like a B-sides, basically.
Well, no,
scenes. They're deleted scenes.
No, they're fill-in scenes, but they help with characterization. They help with storyline. They're the general. They're a fill-in. They're just what they say that they are to be. We're now going to move on to Lost Highway.
A film that I like quite a bit.
I love this film,
This is an interesting film.
It is.
I've always liked Bill Pullman anyway, so he was an interesting choice. You got Patricia Arquette.
Brilliant in this film, by the way. Just a fantastic performance. And Robert Blake.
Is really creepy in this movie.
Kind of plays the Dean Stockwell character, left over from Blue Velvet, if you will. This, once again, is a fragmented horror nightmare film. It doesn't make much sense.
No.
The first half of the film delves into the world of this saxophone player. He's married to Patricia Arquette. A very strange mystery happens where a videotape is delivered to their home, and they actually see on the videotape where somebody came right into their bedroom while they were sleeping and filmed them. It's so creepy that this film, and the Robert Blake segment. Of course, Robert had very shortly thereafter, within about 15 years, right after this film was made. Of course, he was, he was then acquitted for murdering his wife.
Quicker than that, I think this was '97.
Yeah.
That happened. I remember that was the summer of 2001.
There you go.
So within 4 or 5 years.
Oh wow, that was like a month before 9/11.
Yeah, because I remember I was driving cross country that summer. When all that stuff was going on with him.
Gotcha.
But yeah, this is cool. Robert Loggia is also in this film.
Very strange film. Yeah.
Very odd.
I love it.
But it's a cool film. I like it a lot.
very, very much.
Again, there's a lot of atmosphere.
Absolutely.
There's dreamlike moments. A lot of darkness in terms of visual style.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a
not
cool film.
a sexy film, but there is a sexiness to it,
Yes.
provided by Patricia Arquette. It's got an evil element to it.
Yeah, it
There's a meanness. There's a mean spirit to this film. There's not a mean spirit to Blue Velvet, believe it or not. There's a meanness and a horror that is provided by Dennis Hopper in that film, but it's not a mean-spirited film. To me, this is a mean-spirited film. It's just mean. It's evil. Not evil. It's not the right word. It's just mean.
Yeah.
The characters in this are mean, and the film itself feels mean, and it's talking down to you quite a bit as a viewer. And I always find that a little bit bizarre, and yet I love it because there's just such a fantasy element to this film that's just so bizarre. I gotta point out that great scene where Robert Blake, he's standing right there, and yet he hands Bill Pullman the phone. He says, "Go ahead, I'm at your house right now." And he goes, "What?" He says, "I'm at your house right now. Go ahead, call me." So he calls his home, and Robert Blake answers the phone. It's just so
bizarre. Yeah,
so bizarre. But you just feel the horror of it. It just creeps you out and stays with you. One thing about this movie, it will stay with you.
It does. Yeah.
Images. Once again, not a conventional film. There's no arc of beginning, middle, end. It's just a thrown together hodgepodge of maybe two different films.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we have David's only actual Oscar-nominated film, as was his director. Not director, but his main
Richard
star.
Farnsworth.
Richard Farnsworth.
Who blew himself away with a shotgun shortly after.
Right after, yeah.
And this is more of a very, it's a family-oriented film. It's a Disney movie. He worked for Disney on this.
It was.
He didn't write this film. It was a
Stars Sissy Spacek, his cinematographer's
It's an
wife.
eccentric film.
It is eccentric.
But it's a nice story. It's a sad story. It's a straight story.
It is. Well, Dave.
1999.
Yep. Yep.
And it's actually, like you said, a conventional film. It's got a beginning, middle, end. Clear, direct story about an old man who's driving across country to talk to his brother, played by Harry Dean Stanton,
who's dying,
and he does it on a tractor.
Right, he gets
and
on
it's
a tractor,
based on a true story.
And you would think that would be boring as hell, but it's not. The musical score, I don't know who does the musical score, but there's a great guitarist who is just amazing. It's got almost a Spanish guitar kind of feel to it. Just a very slow, methodic. It's a brilliant piece of work. There's no question about it. And
movie.
Richard is awesome.
He's
and
great.
Sissy
He was up
Spacek
for an
is
Oscar.
his daughter. Yeah, I remember him sitting in the audience out on his cowboy hat. And he just kind of sat there, and David was sitting right next to him there, and the film was nominated for Best Picture too. So, pretty good there for Mr. David Lynch.
Was it? I don't know if it was.
I'm pretty sure it was. I'd almost bet you.
Because I know was Blue Velvet for Best Picture? I thought it was.
No.
It was up for something.
No.
Well, I know that Dennis Hopper was nominated.
Well, he might have been.
He was. I know he was.
But I don't think he was
nominated.
He was.
He was.
You can look it up.
And I know Elephant Man had a bunch of nominations too.
Well, definitely. That might have been nominated for Best Picture too.
I think it was. Yeah. Anyway,
My
Mulholland
dog,
Drive.
She's slamming her ass into
I know. Dogs do that. It's disgusting.
Weird. Well, I think she's got. She needs to have her anal glands expelled.
Don't we all?
Expressed. Yeah, really.
Anyway, Mulholland Drive is a very fragmented, dreamlike
Once
state.
again, another dreamlike world.
Based on a failed TV pilot. Failed meaning it wasn't picked up.
He submitted it to ABC, and they were
like, we'll pass.
And then he was happy that they rejected it, and he wanted to make a film. He wanted to make a feature film out of it.
And he discovered Naomi Watts.
Naomi Watts, her first major film. She had done some other stuff, but David really called her. And also this beautiful gal right here, Gail, what's her name?
Laura Herring.
Laura something
Herring, right?
Herring. Yeah, it's Laura something.
I'm pretty sure it's Herring.
Yeah, it is Herring, but it's Laura... wait a minute. I don't...
Where are the awards?
Yeah, Justin Theroux is in this, and it's a brilliant piece of work.
That was the first time I remember seeing Justin Theroux.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
In that film.
Angelo Badalamenti is in this film. He actually plays the guy sitting there at the table. They bring him an espresso. He spits it out into a napkin, and a strange little film. I love this movie. It's so creepy. There's one particular segment where a man walks behind a diner, and he sees a horrific creature.
Disturbing.
So horrible.
Very.
And yet there's a photograph of David, I believe, not in this book, but there is a photograph of David standing next to that creature, and it looks like a burn victim.
It does.
He's wearing almost like a Ku Klux Klan cloak, like a hooded shroud of a thing on his head. It's so bizarre.
By the way,
this movie.
Elephant Man is, yes, it was up for Best Picture.
Of course.
John Hurt was up.
Yep.
David Lynch was up. Yeah. So I had a bunch.
Well, you were going to check out Straight Story.
Yeah, and I'm also going to. Yeah, and I'm going to do Blue Velvet too.
Straight Story. No, Blue Velvet was nominated for nothing. Maybe Best Editing or something.
Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor for Dennis Hopper.
Was it? Okay.
Yes. I'll look it up to make sure.
But nothing else in the world of maybe one or two editing awards or something like that. But I doubt it. There was probably too many other films that they were involved with at the time. But David has always just been one of those directors that people they are magnetically drawn to him just due to his ability to really go into weird. Nobody does weird.
Oh, I stand corrected.
David
it was
Lynch.
the Golden Globe Dennis Hopper was up for Blue Velvet, not the Oscar.
No, I didn't think he was up for
but
the Oscar.
David Lynch was nominated for Best Director.
Was he?
He was,
well,
as he should have been.
What year was that?
Blue Velvet was
86.
86.
Okay, so that was The Last Emperor, I do believe.
Yeah, that was.
That was the year that Last Emperor won.
Of course, that's a big one.
That was,
no, Last Emperor was wasn't that 87?
Well,
I think it was.
Maybe 86. Was that Moonstruck?
Moonstruck, I think, was 87 also.
Well, one of them. They both won Best Picture. Last Emperor won Best Picture, as did Moonstruck.
Yes. Okay.
So they can't both be 87.
All right, hang on. So maybe 86 was Moonstruck. I'll look it up in a second.
85 was, I believe, Out of Africa.
You are correct.
Then 86 was. I'm gonna say 86 was. I'm gonna say 86 was Moonstruck, and then.
Oh yeah, Straight Story. Only nomination was Richard Farnsworth.
Okay. All right. No Best Director?
Nope, no nomination.
Oh, interesting. No. Well, we're getting a side
point
here.
Mulholland Drive. Yeah.
Mulholland Drive.
It's a cool film. It's not my favorite, but it's cool.
I do love it. I love the interaction. I love just the technique of how the movie opens. A very horrific car crash. Woman has amnesia, goes crawling down a hill in the Hollywood Hills. Specifically, the whole accident happens on Mulholland Drive. It's kind of all she can remember. Then we have, I've also found little clues to this film. Whenever there is like a blue light in the room, something changes. Whenever there's like a green light, things stay the same, but they're about to change. There's all kinds of little clues that David has admitted that he planted along the way for you, the audience. There's some amazing characterizations. There's some scenes in this film I would have just cut right out. The film feels very long to me, no matter how many times I see it and love it.
Yeah.
I always get to the same part where the midget man who was in the Twin Peaks, the Red Room as it's known, the black and white floor, crossed floor. You always see that small. He always uses this particular little person, if you will.
Yes.
And he's also in Mulholland Drive, and there's a scene of him sitting in like a big giant director's room, and he tells one of his peons that this is the girl.
Yeah.
And that's given off to, and then they hire Susan George. Is her name? Not Susan George. She used to be on Alias with Jennifer Garner, but I can't think of her name right off the bat. But she's a good little actress in herself. And anyway, the movie it's so bizarre and so strange, and yet the ending is odd. There's one of the most grotesque corpses I've ever seen in my life in this film, that is in a bedroom that had been laying there decaying. It just looks so real. The movie just haunts me to this moment. I can't really excuse me, enjoy it, because there's just so many elements of it that just freak me out. I love the little cowboy guy at the end. Just a terrifying little scene that just looks so innocent. That's the beauty of David. He just takes innocence and he just completely makes it just so incredibly intense and odd and strange and bizarre and mesmerizingly brain. It literally screws your brain into a small puddle of vile pus. So let's move off this because we got to get.
Because we're running out of time. It's ready.
We are running out of time, and I really wanted to spend a lot of time on Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
The new
and by the
season.
way, you were right. Lost Emperor was 87, but 86, Moonstruck did not win. Platoon won.
Oh gosh.
I mean, I'm saying to myself, I
No,
know
you're
86.
Right. Well,
and it was
Cher
Platoon.
won. Cher won.
She
Best
won.
Actress.
Yes, that's correct.
Gee, I thought Moonstruck did win.
No, it didn't.
Okay, Danny Aiello. Yeah, right. There you go.
Yeah.
Platoon did win. 86.
Yes.
Great little movie.
Yes, it was.
Inland Empire. This is a film that you and I sat
Yeah,
and
this
watched
is my
together.
least favorite of his films.
You know, it's a 3-hour epic. There's
Yeah.
also 3 extra hours on this
I remember
film.
sleeping through parts of
It's
this
a
film.
2-disc set. Yeah. You came over to my house. We got the film.
We started it at like
movie
11
store.
o'clock.
It was
Yeah.
late, and then
It was late.
both of us were out cold. I
Yeah.
think by
The first
I
time
remember
we
you were
both
sitting
watched
over
it.
there.
Yeah.
I was sitting on the black chair, and
Yeah.
we were out cold at a certain amount. I remember
Yeah.
you leaving like at 3 o'clock in the morning.
And this was probably, the movie came on video, it came out in 2006 on video, probably later that year, or early 07. So we watched that movie about 11 years ago.
I will say this: go back and watch it again
Yeah.
because
I'll give it another
I have now
chance.
watched it again, and it's really about the Inland Empire of a
Which is
very disturbed woman.
Yeah.
She has definite problems, played beautifully by Laura Dern here, and we kind of have these mini world of rabbits, the rabbit hole, if you will, in Alice in Wonderland, and we have these rabbits that exist within her mind, and the film is about her going through this little maze of her psyche to get to that inner rabbit hole where these rabbits live, and eventually that does happen, and it's not a big revelation or anything. It just happens, and you're suddenly aware that that's what the plot was. It's a strange one. This is the first time David used actual video cameras.
I was going to say that, video.
And he loved it.
He did.
He loved it, loved it, loved it. I just wish he would just make another feature film.
I know.
I mean, he kind of has. He did make the brilliant 70-episode Twin Peaks. Kyle MacLachlan.
Incredible.
Just an incredible piece
So
of work.
different from the original show,
Oh my
but
God.
so amazing in a totally different way.
Yeah, you don't even need to.
But you should,
see
because
the first.
because everything in this is informed by the other 2 seasons.
Correct.
It picks up on a lot of the stuff that was in the original show. So you
Yes.
really, it is a must watch.
I agree.
But this is so unique. It's more horrifying. It's more intense. It doesn't have as much of the absurdity in terms of the comedic absurdity as the original. But it's got everybody and their brother in this show, too.
I would like to say this
It's
one thing, if I may.
so incredible.
I just want to say one thing, and that is... Cut. We got to stop. I want you to cut. Hopefully, maybe we can finish up this review, but I got to go. I got to be at Jason's in, it's 20 of 9. I have to be there very shortly. But I would like to talk about this. Ladies and gentlemen,
we are here.
We do have one more thing that we want to talk about here, and that is the 3rd season of Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks: The Return.
The first and second seasons we loved, naturally, 91, 92, but it is the 3rd season, and I have to commend Mr. Christopher Picard here, ladies and
You
gentlemen.
can shake my hand.
I'm going to shake his hand, dude. Because
spent
you
a
know
lot of
why?
time.
He spent a lot of time. He shocked the living manure out of my anal glands.
I did.
I totally was blown away. I was shocked. I was literally. I cannot tell you how.
Because this
how
man,
knocked
as you
out.
may or may not know, was harassing me for over a year to watch the new Twin Peaks.
Very
and he
true.
said, "Don't bother watching the old ones. Just watch this."
I did say that.
He did
but
many times.
I was just trying to get you to watch the
I know,
new season.
but I said to
I
myself,
was so intense
yeah,
about it because I adored it. I watched it twice.
Exactly.
Plus the behind-the-scenes footage that
Yes.
includes Mr. David Lynch
It does.
talking to his humble staff, etc. Just wonderful. But let's talk about this.
Yeah,
this
it was
thing.
great. I loved it. I
You
spent
know,
over a month and a half watching Twin Peaks from beginning
I believe
of
it.
episode 1 of the season 1
Amazing.
all the way through the return.
Incredible.
I was
incredible,
in Twin Peaks
incredible.
land for over a month and a half.
You were being
May and June.
You were being TP'd.
And you have no idea how much I had to bite my tongue to not say anything to you. Every time I
Well-
saw you, even sometimes on the air, you're like, you'll never watch Twin Peaks. And little did you know, I was in the thick of it at that point.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, and I
I'm
had
just
to
so
surprise you
grateful.
on the air, which I did
I
3 weeks
cannot
ago.
tell you, from the depths of my soul, I'm so
I know.
grateful that you have seen
I
it.
wanted to see it.
Because it is just an
Yeah, it's
amazing,
amazing.
amazing. And,
It's unlike anything you've seen.
unlike anything you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
And much of it, upon first viewing, I have to say, when I watched, we watched the first few episodes of this. In fact, we almost get to like episode 12.
Yeah.
And you still kind of feel like he's wasting so much time with this this funky, Agent Cooper character.
Yeah.
Who his actual name is? What was?
You're talking about Dougie Jones.
Dougie Jones. Yeah, we have the Dougie Jones.
He basically
character.
plays 2 to 3 characters in this. He plays
He
the
does.
original
He plays
Dale
Dale
Cooper.
Cooper,
He plays evil
which we
Dale
don't ever
Cooper.
see till the end.
Yeah.
And
Well, we
then
saw a few glimpses of him in the other realm, so to speak.
Yeah, right.
A little bit.
We do a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah, we see him floating in
Yeah.
through that bizarre thing at the very beginning.
That was so strange.
So bizarre, so strange.
You got to see it. We can't even explain it. It's
You
just
know,
so bizarre.
The film basically opens up. The first thing we see is an alien, not an alien, but we see a headless man in a hotel room. We have that scene pretty much at the start. I've read a lot of references about this. There's a great little thing. You ought to check it out on Facebook. It's called Lynch Land.
Yes.
You ought to sign up to Lynch
Yeah,
Land
I will.
unless you
I
already
like the
are.
page, yeah.
But it's very good.
I follow David Lynch, but
Very
I got to find
interesting.
Lynchland.
Well, that's where I got the whole clip about Isabel Rossellini that I
That's
just
right.
mentioned.
Yeah.
And something I'll tell you, I find out a lot of cool little things about it. But there's a lot of Black Dahlia references. I wish David Lynch, who was the best director to make a film
That would
about
be
the
cool.
Black Dahlia.
That would be cool.
Oh my God. All they need to do is John Gilmore wrote this incredible book called The Black Dahlia. No, forgive me. It's called Severed. It is spectacular. It is so good. It is so frightening. It's frightening beyond belief. And he just basically gives an outline of what he thinks happened, but based on certain facts that they do have about the Black Dahlia that the police actually had. But regardless, supposedly there's quite a few references made by this one particular guy on Lynchland, and he's pointing out that there's some
parallels
to the Black Dahlia universe, if you will. I didn't personally find it. I think we have a headless guy when they find this guy in a hotel room, etc. This film is so. I think of it as a film. The 17 episodes.
Well, it feels like a 17-hour film. It's a mystery.
It's a 17-hour film.
It's a character study in a way. It's got so many different
layers,
storylines and
really
layers
does.
going on.
But
it's all about. It all kind of intertwines, and it's all about the one big story. And then we get a nice glimpse of what all these characters, a good amount of the characters, are doing since the original series.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of new characters as well.
Absolutely.
There is a huge cast of people that come into the show. There's people. I mean, you got James Belushi joining. You have Naomi Watts. I mean, the list goes on and on. All
Tim
these people.
Roth.
Tim Roth. Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Jason Leigh is fantastic.
So many
in
people
it.
just show up a little bit here and there.
I love seeing Mel Ferrer in the film.
Miguel Ferrer, thank God, before he died. Rest in
before
peace.
he passed away.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I love that we have Laura Dern playing Diane, which is great.
They still cannot talk about Miguel Ferrer in this. The people that they've all been interviewed. The one particular agent, the FBI agent, the very sultry red-haired woman, who is in fact a superstar in her own right. She travels the world as a singer in a band. And I'll tell you, who else do we have in this little universe? You've got Don, the man who was in Bus Stop with Marilyn Monroe. Don, what the hell was his name?
I don't remember.
But
I know who you're talking about.
It's a Lynchian world.
The guy that plays Dougie Jones'
Don
boss?
Murrow, not Don Murrow.
No.
Don, he's Dougie Jones' boss.
Him, yeah.
Yeah,
and then we have Robert Forster.
Robert Forster, of course. Well, he's replacing the original
Harry,
sheriff
because he
Harry
retired.
Truman. Yeah, he's now Harry Truman's brother
in the show. Yeah,
so he's.
But I like how they handled that.
Yeah, me too.
It was kind of
and
cool.
Robert Forster's perfect.
He's great.
He's perfect.
And he was supposed to be in the original show.
But
at the time, he was under contract to do another project, so he couldn't get out of it. But he originally was going to be in Twin Peaks to some capacity back in the 1990s.
Absolutely. Of course, he was in Mulholland Drive. He played the police officer. Only seen at the beginning of the film. You never see him again. But this film just starts at this very beginning where it has very much there's a lot of Eraserhead in this film, more so than almost any other.
There's a lot of atmospheric moments, just like Eraserhead.
Much so, where we have like a spindly thing on a stick kind of coming in, which is the main essence. There's this whole world that Cooper goes into at the end. This whole world that is this other universe that
that was so strange.
The Colonel, remember the Colonel from the previous?
He
discovers this whole world. He's now gone. He's gone into the great thereafter.
Yes.
We do have some characters. We have the log lady.
She's there.
She has.
You
come
can tell
back.
she's like dying on camera.
My
she
God.
died right after they finished shooting.
And the behind the scenes footage is somebody actually says, I don't believe it's David Lynch, but somebody says, here she is dying. She's dying here right now. Here's the log lady dying for us. It's just a horrible thing to see.
She just does not look well.
Oh, she's.
You could tell they probably just shot that in her house or something.
I mean, she just had her bout of chemo, and they shot her. She's holding the log. God awful scenario, but. Also, we have Andy, Sheriff Andy, and we have Lucy, the receptionist. Of course, she's back. You know, the original Twin Peaks is on display here, but very, very minimalistic. This is a whole new world. This is a whole bizarre conception, an absolutely abstract universe that David Lynch has created. He's gone above and beyond. He's now talking about doing another 4th season of the show.
Another 5 years
so,
it'll take probably to craft that.
Well, you know, I bet they're going to speed it up.
I bet
they're going to. It's not going to just be him and Mark Forster.
Mark Frost.
Mark Frost. Forgive me. I'm sorry.
Okay.
They'll probably get they just get somebody else that can. I'm making bizarre fart noises with this chair here. I apologize for that, but yeah, I think if they just got some other writers to really conceptualize David's vision, and I'm just trying to speed it up in my own brain and make excuses so that he can get it out there quicker to us. But I know Showtime would go for it. It's been a huge hit.
It was huge.
David's been nominated for Emmys, which next month.
I hope
the
he
Emmys
gets that.
Oh, I pray to God he does.
And Showtime saw a big spike in subscriptions for when this show aired last summer.
Absolutely.
One thing that was cool about this season of Twin Peaks, it was very unique. We had not every episode, but a good amount of them. We had like a little mini concert at the end of each episode, where they go to the Roadhouse,
the bar,
and there's a band playing. We'll get a little brief scene.
Bang Bang, was it the Bang Bang Bar?
No,
it's called the Bang Bang.
I forget the name. But yeah, we get a little scene with some characters,
right?
And then we just get into like a 3-minute scene. Roll,
we credits just have a band playing. Usually,
9 Inch Nails shows up in that one bizarre episode 8, was it?
Usually we have a female singer. I know one particular band was called Chrome. There is a whole movie. There is a whole television. There's 2 soundtracks. There's the Angelo Badalamenti David Lynch soundtrack, musical, orchestral. Sound. They don't use a lot of the original Twin Peaks music in this.
They don't. Just basically the opening credits. That's it. And her theme. Laura Palmer's theme.
That's all basically we have. But there are just so many bizarre instances. I have to say though that for me, as it was very, very unsatisfying. This 17 episodes, I did find it unsatisfying. I found it to be. I wish he could have focused a little bit more on the original Twin Peaks and brought that feeling.
I agree.
To us.
We didn't have the same feeling as the original. The same vibe, not at all.
We almost went for straight comedy with the Dougie Jones character. Dougie Jones is Dale Cooper, but he's more or less an invalid. He's a mental invalid. He has been compromised because he is only half full.
Yeah.
The evil Dale Cooper has been taken over by the Dave character.
Bob, you mean?
By Bob, forgive me.
By Bob's
by the Bob character. The guy who played him was named Dave.
Yes.
But the Bob character who inhabited Agent Cooper at the very end of season 2.
Correct.
He looks in the mirror and Bob comes into his soul after leaving the soul of Laura Palmer's father.
Correct.
And he
Spoilers.
Was possessed. Well, yeah, but this is from 30...
Yeah, but some people not have seen it.
I don't care. If you haven't seen Twin Peaks from 30 years ago, you deserve to be spoiled. So, regardless, the Agent Cooper is... And I'll tell you that, for me, was one of the most satisfying elements of this whole 17 episodes, was the evil guy that Dale Cooper plays. One of my favorite scenes was the arm wrestling scene.
That was great.
Oh my god!
With the actor Derek Mears.
That was amazing.
Yeah, who plays he's basically like a gang boss kind of thing. Yeah.
He's completely without conscience, without fear, he is 1000% evil. He just kills mercilessly, and it's a brilliant performance by Kyle.
I don't think he's up for an Emmy. It'd be nice if he was.
He should be, because he plays 3 different roles.
I'll have to look it up and see if he is.
No, he's not.
Because I think it's just Lynch, right?
It's just Lynch.
Yeah.
Maybe some production staff crews, editing, whatever.
Production design.
Yeah, production, art direction, whatever. But unfortunately, because Kyle should be in there.
That's great.
And at the very end, in the behind-the-scenes footage, David actually looks at Kyle and he goes, okay, and they would have applause every time a character left the rap.
Yeah.
And so they had 3 separate sets of applause for Kyle MacLachlan because he left 3 times. The final thing they shot was at the very end there when you remember the guy who's got the iron fist? There's the one kid. He's got like this. He's got this ability to punch
the one that met with Jimmy on the loading dock.
Correct.
Yes.
And he has this ability, and he does, in fact, destroy.
Well, let's not say.
I don't want to get into
He's
that.
got a key part.
He's got a key part. He's got this incredible, like, powerful fist that he's able to destroy something, which he does. And when that's the final scene that Kyle MacLachlan does his Dale Cooper thing. So, and that was his final thing. He had already done the Dougie Jones. He had already done the evil Kyle. So they had 3 times they wrapped, and David Lynch would call everybody over, even a minutest character, he would bring it, the whole staff. Okay, Laura Dern has finished shooting. She's leaving us now, ladies and gentlemen. And Cheryl,
they do that
Lynn,
a lot on a lot of different movies and projects.
Yes.
TV shows, they'll do that for a lot of times. It's a great thing to do. I love that.
It's a great thing to do.
It's fun.
It's awesome, but
it's a little bit of appreciation. And
there is no way to really describe this this season. I do say, without a doubt, if you are an Eraserhead fan, check out episode 8. It is just the strangest
out
of them. There's hardly any dialogue. Yeah. It's mostly black and white with like one color person, like a red. That woman in red walking through this grand ballroom of a room, incredible.
It's a very polarizing episode because people either loved it or hated it.
I
thought it was
the first time I saw it.
Very interesting.
I was so disappointed. I thought, here's another episode he's wasting. He's not giving us all I wanted. All I really wanted. I wanted Twin Peaks. I wanted Twin Peaks. I wanted the continuation of the goddamn story. That's all I wanted. But I have to say, I've now watched it twice. And over that original disappointment, if you will, I've now embraced it 10 times more fold as being just so incredibly bizarre. It's just so David Lynch. It's just so out there. I love the scene. We talked about it back at our studio scenario with Michael, what's his name, with the beret on, and he comes out. You know, the guy from
which character are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm talking about Michael. He was in Juno.
Michael Cera.
Michael Cera.
Oh, he comes out. It looks like he's out of the Wild One or something.
No, he looks ridiculous.
Yeah,
he looks like a little kid in a Marlon Brando.
He plays somebody's son. Yeah.
He looks like Marlon Brando with the jacket and the beret.
That's why I said the Wild One.
It looks absurd. It looks so stupid. Precisely.
He's very out of place almost.
And then we have his parents are played by Sheriff Andy and Lucy. And they come over and they kind of embrace him. It's so absurd. Weird. There's so much ridiculous. Amanda Seyfried has a little bit
she's
part.
in the show.
She's so bizarre. I love that scene. There's a close-up on her face. She's driving with her evil boyfriend in the car. And we have this magnificent close-up with her hair blowing. And it's just almost like a flickering kind of a bizarrety.
And in the show, she is the daughter of, what's her name at the diner? That's her daughter in the show. Yes.
Is that right? That's the, played by, of course, Peggy Lipton. You think of Peggy Lipton?
No. She's Madchen Amick's daughter in the show.
Madchen Amick's daughter. Oh, that is correct. Okay. Yes. Good to see Madchen Amick again, and Peggy Lipton.
Yeah, I like to see everybody.
I love them all.
This show, you do get a lot of character closure in many ways.
You do.
Which I liked.
You do.
I did feel, like I mentioned to you a few weeks ago, that I thought that some of the actors were a little wasted, especially David Patrick Kelly. He's just running around the woods the whole show, high on dope. Yeah. You know, that's really all he gets to do. I kind of
like that, though. I like.
He's
a very dear friend of David Lynch.
I know he is.
He
didn't really get to do much. He's a very talented guy. I saw him on Broadway a few years ago.
Really?
In that play once, and he was singing. He was
the Irish.
Yes, the Irish thing.
And
he was doing an accent.
Great
he was
music.
Playing instruments. He was a very talented guy.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was good.
And of course, he's in the Warriors from many years ago.
Warriors.
He's banging the bottles together. Come out to play, and he's batting the bottles.
He's been in a lot of stuff. He's been around a long time.
He's wonderful. He's great.
But overall, it's a fantastic show. I highly recommend it.
Russ Tamblyn is back.
He's back. He plays that guy, conspiracy.
He wears the red and blue shades. And he's talking to the one guy who's having the affair with Peggy Lipton, the black-haired guy, Joe, I think his name is.
Yes.
She's having an affair with him. That's his wife. She's the curtain rod lady.
Yes.
Remember her?
Yeah, I can't stand that character.
I don't like her either, but I don't know. I loved her in the second season of the original Twin Peaks.
When she's all
doing
like
the curtain rods.
And then she becomes like a high school
and
kid.
then she becomes a high school. Oh, I thought that was great. And she falls in love with Biff.
With
the star quarterback.
Yeah.
He's the jock.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious. And it was good to see her again because she hasn't changed much. She still has that absurd left weirdo kind of bizarreness about her. It's a great thing to embellish and to it really
it's a
makes
lot of fun.
You just want to watch it again and again and again. I love Dougie in Las Vegas. Dougie Jones when he goes in and he goes, what is the catch line he keeps saying over and over and over and over and over? He goes bingo, or no, it's not bingo. It's
I don't remember.
Every time he gets
when he's playing the slots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he says a particular
He does.
word.
I don't remember what it is.
And he goes, Zingo, or something like that. It's hilarious. And then you see like this little light going over each one of the machines, the slot machines.
Yes.
And he goes to that machine, and he does it, and he keeps winning more money and more money and more money. I love the 3 pink ladies that are a part of the
they work with like the
staff.
mob boss.
They work for the boss. Well, no,
the brothers, the
brothers.
James Belushi and his brother.
Right.
They're like mobsters, but they own the casino.
They're kind of their three. Yeah. They're kind of like the same girls that came out of Blue Velvet. You remember that are dancing on the car.
Yeah, they are.
But they just happen to be beautiful.
Of course.
And they're in their little pink outfits. And I'll tell you, it's got so many bizarre, complete and totally off the wall components to it. It's just, it's a magnificent experience. Here it is right here. You'll notice we have Kyle MacLachlan there, and as his face just
that's so cool.
separates and becomes one.
That's great.
It's super cool, and of course we have Laura Palmer on the back. She is the core, she is the root, she is the nucleus of this show. She is present in this particular episode, only minimalistically.
We do get to see her.
We do get to see her at the very end. It's kind of a piercing moment, if you will.
Yes, it is, I'll say.
But at the same time, I cannot recommend it enough. And for the Twin Peaks people that are out there that really do want their Twin Peaks fix,
I think they'll like
the
it.
last 2 episodes really do kind of bring it all back home.
Yeah.
We do get to go back into our beloved, our red and black striped room, etc. And we get to go back into the Twin Peaks world. Not quite enough for me, but as I say, I've embraced this whole 17 episodes on a completely new level. So
you got to look at it as, okay, this is Twin Peaks, but it's completely different.
It is.
And you don't expect the exact same vibe.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's enough there to satisfy, at least for me. It's hard to say if I like it better or less. I like it all.
I understand.
I like it all.
I do too.
But there is a nostalgia for the original 2 seasons. That's something so special about it.
It is indeed.
You get that beautiful, haunting music, and just the beautiful imagery.
And the haunting characters. And
it's just so different from anything else that I've seen.
The shroud of death that looms over those first 2 episodes is horrifying.
Yeah.
And you know, the murder itself, you have to go to Fire Walks with Me, which is basically the 3rd part. We have season 1, season 2, Fire Walks with Me, which is
a feature film. There was
a
a
feature
bridge.
film that is the bridge. It is the bridge of the death of Laura Palmer, and it gives you the whole essence to how she died.
Yeah.
So it shows you her death basically. So it's amazing. I would have preferred a 3rd true season of Twin Peaks, but I'm very grateful for what I got because I got a 17-hour David Lynch film that is beyond reproach. It is beyond weirdness. I remember Kyle doing a show before it had actually premiered on Showtime. They were sitting, the core characters, of course, Lucy and Andy and Forrester and so forth.
Yeah.
They're sitting on the dais at Comic-Con.
Yes.
And they're sitting there talking about what the show is. And Kyle MacLachlan just kind of sat there and he kind of just shook his head and he just says, this is the weirdest thing you're ever going to see in your life. I cannot tell you with any more sincerity that what you're about to see you've never seen anything like it, and those were his very words, and he's 100% correct.
Yes.
It's so bizarre, it's so strange. It goes from the comically absurd to the horrifyingly intense, murderous, evil in typical Lynch fashion. Not much sex in this one, I will say. I think he had an R rated. We do hear the F word.
I mean, there's some swearing and violence, but you
is dropped.
You don't get a lot of, not that I can enjoy any sex,
really, very little. I was expecting more, considering Blue Velvet, Wild at
We
Heart.
have that one sex scene in the first
Drive.
episode or second
Exactly,
episode. That's
where
it.
the young girl, and she used to be, that particular girl, by the way, she used to be on that David Duchovny show.
Californication.
Californication.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was on that. She was one of his girlfriends.
I like that show.
I did too.
I thought it
I thought it was a great
suffered
show.
towards the last couple seasons, but it was still good.
It did indeed.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun.
I always thought it was a kick.
I love that Duchovny's back in this as well, in this Twin Peaks.
Yeah, he is.
That
He's
was
back
great.
in drag.
Yeah.
Doing his drag bit.
It's fun.
And we have all the characters are back. We have
Just
Richard
about
Beamer
everybody.
is back from West Side Story, as is Russ Tamblyn, both from West Side Story. They're both in there. Sherilyn Fenn is in there. I didn't care for her. There's one scene there that I'm going to point out, and then we're going to go. But there's a scene where Sherilyn Fenn...
we never got a chance to talk about that. That scene with her and that bizarre husband of hers.
Yeah.
That was I got to say something about
hated
that scene.
scene.
That scene was cringing for me.
Me too.
It was awkward. I think deliberately so.
Yeah.
I just thought it was weirdly written. I don't even know if I thought the acting was that great in that scene. It all could have been by design.
Yeah, it was.
But it was so
you should see the behind the
off-putting.
scenes of it.
It was the most bizarre
It
thing.
was-
I almost felt like at times they weren't even in the same room.
He's
'Cause
just... I know.
They were shot like in two shots. There was no shot where they were both together on screen.
Well, we have
Her
to
shot,
tell people what
his
we're
shot.
talking about.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We have
It's
this
just
very
so bizarre.
rotund. He's almost a dwarfy kind.
Yeah,
I don't want to say dwarfy, but he's almost.
He seems like a little person.
He's a little person. He's rotund.
Yeah.
He's almost grotesque looking.
Yeah.
And he's sitting behind a desk. He's very, very
Yeah,
smart.
it was so weird.
This is kind of the Arthur Miller Marilyn Monroe relationship,
Mm-hmm.
where she's kind of let's say she's beautiful. She's the older version of her character on the Twin Peaks 1 and 2. But she's what was her character's name? I can't quite remember. But played by Sherilyn Fenn.
Yeah. She's the daughter of what's his name?
What's
Who runs
his
the
face?
hotel.
Who runs the hotel? Richard Beamer.
Richard Beamer. Yes.
But we have this confrontation between them. She wants to go out, and she wants.
They're
him
trying
to
to
go
find
with her.
somebody that's missing.
Right, and their son. They want to
Yeah,
find
their
their
son.
son.
Yeah.
And their son happens to be the same guy who explodes on the hilltop with what's his name, with Kyle MacLachlan. I love that scene.
Oh yeah.
When he goes up and just bursts in. I love that because I hated that guy. He's a great actor.
He's
though,
good.
that kid. He's wonderful.
he's good.
He's in New.
Well, we mentioned him. He was in Winchester.
Winchester,
and he was in
film with
Chained,
Helen Mirren, and he was
which
great.
was the
in
first
Chained.
thing I saw him in.
Fantastic
Yeah,
film.
the David Lynch's
Directed
daughter's
by
film.
David Lynch's
Jennifer
daughter.
Lynch, yeah.
Jennifer Lynch can't beat it. So obviously there's that connection there. So we have Sherilyn Fenn and this little fat rotund guy just screaming at each other. He's not really screaming at her, but she's just screaming at him, and it's so,
And it's a long scene.
It won't end.
It doesn't.
It will not end. But this show is going to end right now. We have to go. But
definitely check out
check
season
out
3.
Twin Peaks.
You can watch it on
Magnificent.
Showtime on demand if you have
There it is
Showtime.
right here. You can go
You
buy.
can watch it on.
You can go buy
You can buy it on Amazon.
You can buy the 17 disc. Actually, I believe it's only about a 10 disc set. It is a limited event series. It was on Showtime literally
Last summer.
in 2017. It was on, and it's just wonderful.
It's fantastic.
Can't beat it. It's just an amazing thing. I'm very, very grateful that you actually did
Me
watch
too. I'm happy I watched
and
it too.
my mouth dropped, 10 feet when you told me, in fact, that you had watched it. I was so, I must say, I could almost cry. I was so moved.
You were shocked.
That you
Yeah.
saw it.
And
because
folks,
I've been begging you.
I know.
I value your opinion.
And I wanted to get to it.
I know.
And I had to get to it, but I wanted to surprise you. And
you
it worked
got
out best. It was great.
Fuck me.
And
Pardon
folks,
my French,
stay
folks.
tuned to the end of this episode. I'm going to cut to the reaction of Daryl when that happened a few weeks ago.
I was blown away.
It was a great moment.
Of course, I was given a bit of a preview, the sneak preview.
By mistake, the
It's
people that ran the
something-
switcher in the studio
I know.
accidentally revealed one of the photos before we started rolling. But
Absolutely
I was
true.
we were able to kind of distract you so it didn't ruin it too much.
Well, you just.
I don't
kinda
think you
told me,
expected that to
Well,
happen.
you said, how did those get on there?
Yeah.
You know, you made a good faux
Well,
pas.
I just said, they just threw that on
in
there.
defense.
Yeah.
Oh, they just put that on there. But then I'm thinking, wait a minute. So then when it came on later,
Then you
said,
realized
"Oh,
why."
I saw them." I went,
Yeah.
"Oh shit!"
Yeah.
It did knock me out because I have been begging you to watch.
I know you have.
I've been begging you to watch this season for
Yeah.
over a year.
Over a year, yeah.
It's
I know.
been over a
I
year,
know.
and I really thought you're a busy guy. You don't have time. You don't have time to do jack shit.
Yeah.
You work. You've got the wife and the kid and the whole bit, and so.
But I made it happen, my friend. But that's all
You
I
made it
watched for a
happen.
while.
I understand.
With the exception of theatrical films,
I
I
don't
was
know
just
how
at
you
home
got-
watching it.
I don't know how you got the films in there too, but you know.
Well, you could, because at night I come home and I want to watch
Well,
something.
not only that, we've had more time lately because we've been doing specialty shows.
Well, that helped out a
so
lot.
we didn't have to do the.
Exactly.
We didn't have to watch.
I didn't have to spend 5 hours.
I know.
No, not 5 hours. I didn't have to watch 5 movies in addition
Right.
to what we're
movies
seeing in the
that
theater. Yeah.
were just coming out on Amazon or
Exactly.
Netflix or whatever.
So the specialty shows really helped a lot.
Absolutely true.
But anyway, we're rambling. Let's end the show.
Let us close it
We'll
up
see
here.
you guys soon.
Pleasure.
Thank you for
It's
tuning
honor.
in. We hope you enjoyed
We shall
our
be back with an
David
all
Lynch-a-thon.
new. We'll be back with an all new show next Tuesday.
Same time,
and we're
same
gonna
channel.
be doing. Well, you're going to see us on YouTube now. But we're going to do a whole new show with all new movies that we've never done over
Exactly.
the past, let's say, 3 months.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
We're
films
dumping a
out
lot of
there.
stuff into the next episode.
We really are.
But it's
you
going to be good.
Blockers and Tao and
Yeah, good stuff.
The Meg.
Exactly.
Which hopefully, but and all kinds of stuff.
It's going to be chock full of
I'm
movies.
going to watch the first Prophet. No, what's the movie with Ethan Hawke where he's the priest?
Oh, that I watched. Yeah, First Reformed.
The First
Yes,
Reformed,
yes.
absolutely. I have that.
Good.
I will be
There'll
watching
be a few
it
good
shortly.
things.
So, a lot of good stuff.
Maybe
that
you'll
we
get to see Black
haven't-
Klansman because I'm going to review that.
I would like to see that also.
And then also 8th grade. We're going to talk about 8th grade.
Absolutely. That's the last film I saw in the theater, and that's over 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I just have not even wanted to go to the theater. I don't know why. I don't know why.
And you saw the Meg, right? You
I did not.
Oh, okay. 'Cause
I've
I
seen
did.
nothing. The only thing I saw was 8th grade.
Oh, okay.
It's the last film I saw that
Yeah,
was
so I went
of
and saw the
any
Meg, too.
that we haven't reviewed.
Cool.
So we will do 8th grade.
So next week, guys, we'll see you.
We'll see you. Take care.
See you
Be
soon.
good.
And stay tuned for the recap.
Stay tuned for the recap of Daryl's reaction.
Yeah.
Okay, goodbye.
I have a surprise for you.
Oh no.
This is a big surprise for you.
Really?
I've watched every episode of Twin Peaks, including the new version. I watched it. I spent about
The
a
new
month and a
version?
half. I watched everything. Everything for
You're
you.
lying to
I
me.
swear to God, I watched everything. I even got the Showtime, the subscription just for a month just to watch season 3. I watched it all. I spent basically all of May and June watching all of Twin Peaks.
You're kidding me.
Yes, all of it.
God bless
Just
you.
for you.
Well, thank God.
And I loved every moment of it. It was incredible. The
But the new season.
The new season is so different than the original.
my God.
It was incredible.
It's a
There's
night.
so much
so
to say
David
about
Lynchian.
it. It is so
David-
Lynchian.
Well, we'll
I
do a
love
whole
that-
show. We can
will.
do a whole show
I
on
just want
that.
to tell you, I love how Lynch gave himself a huge role in this sequel in
Yeah.
the 3rd season.
Yeah.
I loved all the new characters. I loved the old characters. I loved.
Well, he had a huge role in Firewalks with Me also.
He did.
Oh, you
I
sent
love
this
Michael
in.
Horse.
That's
I
why.
gave them all this stuff. Yeah.
That's why
I
they
didn't
were
know they
showing
were going to
this.
show it. I was
Oh,
trying to
for
keep it a
God's
secret.
sakes.
Yeah. I didn't know they were going to
well,
show
that
it.
is a big
I love
surprise.
that she plays Diane.
I
That was
know.
awesome. We never got
I
to
know.
see.
We never got
However,
to-
I do have a bone to pick with you. When you were telling me to just watch the new season. You don't need to see the original show because it's so different.
Well, no, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did.
How could you not watch the original season?
Well, of course.
This is everything from the original 2 seasons informs this. This is so much a part of the
Did you
original
watch
show.
Firewalks with Me?
Well, I saw that like 15 years ago.
Well, you need to watch it again
no,
because
now I
that's
have
the
to-
bridge.
I know. I have
That's
to
the
watch that
bridge.
again.
That's the
I just
end.
didn't have time.
That's the end
But that's-
result
I know.
of the first season.
I know. I got to watch
Yeah.
that. I'm gonna rewatch it because I only
Okay.
remember moments of
Well,
it.
it's very important that you do.
Yeah, I loved that he had a nice
Yeah,
part
yeah,
here.
there we go.
And my what's his name wasn't back. The arm wasn't back, but I love how they handled that. Where he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, this is my new form,"
I know.
and he's a freaking tree with a brain on top.
I know. So
Yeah, it was amazing. Michael Jansen, he didn't want to come back.
I'm blown away.
Yeah.
I know.
I know. He didn't want to come back. I was so bummed.
Well, he's like 72 now. I don't know why he didn't want
I'm bummed
to.
that Harry retired. He didn't want to come back.
Well, I know,
But I
yeah,
liked
yeah.
Robert Forster as his brother. That
was great.
cool.
Perfect.
You know, he was
And he
originally
was in
going to be
Mulholland
in the
Drive.
original show.
He was in Mulholland
He
Drive.
was, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Robert Forster was going to be in the original Twin Peaks to begin with,
Very
but he
sorry
couldn't get
to
out of
see
a contract.
Mr. Ferrer
But I'm
there.
so glad that he was in almost every
Yeah.
episode, and he was
He
able to do
was.
it before he died.
Absolutely.
Oh.
He literally died when the show actually
so
aired.
great.
He
I
died
love
right before
James
that.
Belushi and
Mel
his
Ferrer.
brother, the team
my
up.
God, I can't
It was
believe
great.
you saw it.
It
I'm
was
so
amazing.
shocked. But how about
yeah.
how about the character played by Kyle MacLachlan.
I know, he's amazing.
That great scene when when they're arm wrestling.
Yeah, he breaks that guy.
phenomenal.
I met that guy. The arm that he breaks, that's Derek Mears. I met him.
Really?
I met him at Chiller Theater the first time I ever went to
You know,
Chiller
we're getting
Theater
way
in
off track
2007.
here. We're
I
getting
know
way
we are.
off track.
But he's so good. He
But-
plays Dougie.
Yeah,
Which is a character that took
Dougie,
me
yeah.
a while to grow on me. It took a little bit of time.
I'll tell you, if you watch the second season the second time, now episode 8.
Incredible.
Episode 8 is
The nuclear explosion, then they have
it's
all the
like
black and white.
It's like a black and white.
Yeah.
It's just a dream. It's
It
like
was
a racer head.
incredible.
Part 15.
And those guys, you got a light.
Oh, that
Creepy.
guy. He like Abe Lincoln.
Yeah.
You got a light.
It was so disturbing.
I loved it.
It was, and then that
So
weird
wonderful.
alternate world that he goes in with the girl with no eyes.
Yeah.
And they're looking into the
I know.
window and you see
I
Laura
know.
Palmer. and
Amazing.
It's great. I mean, it's got.
And there's that horrible guy in the jail cell at
I
the
know,
end.
I
And
know.
every time she says something,
Yeah, there she is.
and he repeats
There
it.
she- yeah.
Incredible. I'm so. I am proud of you that you watched
I've been
it.
watching. You know how hard it was for me to not tell you that I've been watching Twin Peaks? There was a period of time when I wasn't watching anything but Twin Peaks. And Kim, my wife, was like, "Oh, are you going to go peaking tonight?" I said, "Yes, I'm peaking tonight."
Good for
Three,
you,
4
man.
episodes a night.
Well,
sucking
thank
it in.
God you did because
Yeah, I wanted
this
to.
new season is
It's amazing.
spectacular.
It's incredible.
It is amazing.
I hope it comes back for more.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
I hope so. But it took 5 years to
know.
create
I
that.
know.
And
I know.
David is getting up there. He's like
I know.
73
He's in his
now.
70s,
You know,
yeah.
so I just hope to God that he can get it together and he and Mark Frost can write a whole new
I know.
season and they
I
can
agree. It'll be great.
produce it. How'd you like a little? What's his name? He kind of plays the James Dean.
Michael Cera?
Yeah, Michael Cera.
He comes in for that weird scene. That was a
weird little scene. He's got
when
the
he plays
leather
their son.
jacket.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
got
yeah.
the hat on.
Yeah.
He's like James Dean or something. It was Marlon Brando more.
Kind of, yeah.
But it was like he's like a little pussy ass
I know.
Marlon Brando. It was hilarious.
I like that Billy's a cop now.
I loved it.
That's cool.
I really did. Yeah, Billy's a cop.
I will say, you know who I thought was completely wasted in the new season, though?
Who's that?
David Patrick Kelly. Just running around in the woods high on weed. That's all he was doing the whole season. That was kind of give him something a little better to do.
David Patrick, of course, was in, you're also Russ Tamblyn. He was also the guy with the multicolored
Yeah, well, in the
lenses.
beginning, he's got the
But
crazy
David Patrick
conspiracy
Kelly,
show.
He was in, remember, he was the bottle guy in the Warriors.
I know. I brought him
go
up
back.
before. I know
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
There you
But
go.
I just thought he didn't have much to do in this new season.
Well, you know.
But
I
still, it
did
was
love
good
the
to see him.
kid. Did you see? I forgot whether you saw that movie Winchester. Did you see Winchester?
Yeah, we talked about it on the air.
You
He's
remember
the same kid that was in Change.
Same kid.
He runs over the boy
Right.
in this episode,
Exactly.
this season. Yeah.
And he's the kid that remember he goes on the mountaintop.
Yeah.
Kyle MacLachlan goes, go up
Go
there.
up there, yeah.
And all of a sudden,
Boom. Yeah, exactly.
He just explodes. I
Yeah,
loved
it
it.
was great.
I'm telling
Kyle
you, man.
MacLachlan was so evil in this show.
Oh, God.
He was so good. I
outrageous.
love Jennifer Jason Leigh and Tim Roth.
How about that scene with the girl in the hotel room?
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, and then suddenly he just puts the thing over, kabloom.
Brutal.
Blows her
God,
away.
yeah. And then
My
there's
God.
that weird scene in New York City with that box that kid is
Well, that
watching.
was the
box.
first show.
The first episode.
was the
yeah.
first episode.
And then things just suddenly appear once. There he is. There's Dougie. Naomi
Oh,
Watts was
my
great.
God.
Yep.
Naomi
And then you got Tom
Dynamite.
Sizemore.
Yeah,
Everybody's
I know.
in. Who isn't in this show?
I know.
Everybody's in it.
And the guy who played the boss, what was his name? He was in a movie called Bus Stop with Marilyn Monroe. His name is Don.
Oh, you mean the boss,
yeah.
the insurance boss?
Right.
Yeah.
Don
He was good.
something or other.
Yeah, I
Don-
didn't get a
not
picture
Don
of
Ritter,
him.
Don, not Don.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Anyway.
Anyway, I'm very glad
we'll
you did.
Move on. But I just wanted to
I'm
tell you that on the
amazed.
air. I've been
Cool.
waiting for weeks.
Well, good, man.
Yeah.
I'm very
Yeah.
impressed. I'm
Yeah.
very proud. Very happy you watched it.
Me too, dude. I
and
loved
here
it.
I just said at the beginning of today's show, here he is, Chris. He'll never watch. He'll never get to
I
see
know.
it.
I was so thrown off when they accidentally put that photo on. I'm like, don't worry about that. Yeah. I deliberately didn't put it on here because I was afraid you'd look at this and say, Twin Peaks. Why is this on here?
Oh,
so I gave
no.
them a different version of this that had tweaks.
Yeah.
That's a
Okay.
good idea. Adam just said we should do an old Twin Peaks episode of my ear.
Possibly so.
We
possibly
could do that.
So.
That's fine.
I don't know. We've
Or a
covered
whole
quite bit
Lynch
right
episode.
here.
Why not?
Well, that's easy to
That's
do.
great.
How did you like the final scream? There's a scream.
Yeah. Oh, at the end of it. Yeah. Well, it's Laura Palmer screaming.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was horrifying.
And of course
Yeah.
now,
I wanted more from the ending. By the way,
that's
I wanted
what
a little
he.
more.
Well, I did love the last 2 episodes
was
where
great.
they kind of.
No, it was tied things up.
Even the second to last episode, episode 16.
Yeah.
It kind of resolves everything.
It does.
And then finally, he wants to go back and.
Then it's
pick
almost
up
like an
the-
epilogue. The last episode, in a way.
Kind of in a way,
Yeah.
but then we get a whole new character in there, and that's that girl at the. Remember she goes to the diner, and
Yes.
the girl says, "No, she's not here
Exactly.
today.
She
She's
goes-
at
he
home."
goes to the house. Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the alternate Laura
Exactly,
Palmer.
yeah, it's
and
interesting.
that's who he wants to. He says that's something worth pursuing.
Yes.
That's what he wanted to write
Yeah.
about. One of the great things about I know you didn't see You saw the Showtime? You got Showtime to watch specifically?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
Well, on the discs,
Yeah.
there is approximately 17 little hour episodes on the making of each
Oh, that's
thing.
pretty cool. I'd like to watch that.
Oh, my God.
That's great.
I
I
couldn't
almost
stop
bought the
watching
disc. I'm like,
those.
I don't want to buy it just yet.
$50, it's worth
I
every
know.
dime. It's worth
I know.
every dime because you will go back to that. And
Yeah, but
I tell you,
I know.
I just
Maybe one day I'll buy
just
it.
adored it so
No,
much.
it's great.
I
It's awesome.
really did.
It's
I'm going to go
awesome.
back and watch it a third time.
You should.
I will because
great.
it just is pure Lynchy. I love the girl crawling out of the the trailer the trailer house. The trailer park
Yes.
house.
Oh, yeah, after what's his name beats her up. Yeah,
he
yeah,
beats
yeah.
her up and she comes
She comes out of the woods.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
Harry Dean Stanton.
Harry Dean
that was
Stanton's
cool.
in it.
Yeah, it was
everybody.
great.
It's awesome.
All right, let's move on real quick.
Kyle really deserves an.
He should get a nomination for an Emmy. I don't know if he
should
did,
get
but
an
he
Academy
should.
Award for
He was
the
great.
3 roles that he
He was
played.
great.
And in fact, many times during the shooting, like whenever they would retire one character, it didn't matter who it was. It
They
might have
had
been
in
Sherilyn
the credits.
Fenn.
They say,
Yeah.
in honor of
Well,
whatever.
right.
Yeah.
Well, no. When I say retire, I mean that the character, like when Dale Cooper does his last performance
Yes.
as Dale Cooper.
Yes.
When Kyle does
Yes,
his last
yes,
Dale
yes.
Cooper. Now, he got three ovations.
He did.
What they would do is they would, like when Naomi Watts was done shooting, okay, everybody, gather around, and David would sit there with his hat on, and he's got his little binocular kind of thing that he, like a loop that he looks through just as his his monocle to look at a shot, etc. And he would have everybody come gather around, and he'd say, "Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dale Cooper's last
that's fun.
show today," and then everybody.
That's great.
"Whoa!"
He's
It was
a national
fantastic.
treasure, David
The
Lynch.
guy,
I love
I'll
him.
tell you something. He has a heart of gold.
He's great. He's
it
awesome.
so comes out in the making of the
I definitely want to watch that.
It's 17, almost 17 hours or
Of
so
behind the scenes.
of behind the scenes footage.
awesome.
It's just as good. Just how he comes up with stuff.
It's amazing,
mind-blowing.
yeah.
Mind-blowing. How I'm such
Yeah.
a huge fan.
Me too.
I truly am. I just worship and adore
Me
the
too.
man.
It's a great. It's a better world with him in it.
Absolutely.
We'll move on real quick. I mean.
Yeah, but we know now. Yeah, Mr. Man,